Distinguished friends on the dais, and dear friends in the audience. First of all, I congratulate you for completing 50 years of your organization. It's your golden year, and it's a matter of great happiness and pride that the professionals like you are also committed to the social values which are very important for us. I also thank you for generously inviting me and introducing me. Also, I am very glad that you gave me a very good topic to talk on, and that is we, the people of India. Now, India, when we say, it has a history and it has a present. India was not formed in a day. Over a period of time, gradually it came to be formed. And this point I am emphasizing because the concept of India is varying for different people. Especially, some people are trying to associate India with one single religion. Sorry, not just one single religion. Within that religion also, they want to point out certain values which people can say are Brahminical values presented in the newer language. So it is in this context that we have to understand that India is a plural country. India is a diverse country. India has practically all the religions of the world here. India has so many languages. Apart from the official languages, there are other languages also which are there in this thing. As far as culture is concerned, Indian culture is also very diverse. Now, I will begin with a small story. People have developed stereotypes about people of one religion having one type of language. The person who was my mentor and a great friend, Asghar Ali engineer, once he came to Kerala as he was studying the condition of Muslim women in Kerala. So, I am beginning with a small incident. He went to a Kerala village interior with an interpreter, and one old woman he wanted to interview. So the interpreter introduces old woman to Asghar Ali engineer and introduces Asghar Ali engineer to that old woman. So that old woman said, when she hears about Asghar Ali engineer coming from Bombay, needing an interpreter to talk to her. So interpreter told her, he doesn't know Malayalam. That's why I am there. So old woman in very amazement says, how can he be a Muslim if he doesn't know Malayalam? This, I am trying to say, is the deep-rooted diversity. Because in many parts of the country, people feel that Urdu is the language of Muslims. Recently, I happened to go to one place in Maharashtra where Muslim Marathi literary people had collected. In Bengal, if you go, you maybe, I'll come to that, how Pakistan, which was made in the name of Islam, finally broke into Pakistan and Bangladesh. One was the main reason was that Pakistan's dominant rulers, they were Urdu speaking. They wanted to make Urdu as the national language of Pakistan. That time, Bangladeshi people actually, even that time, were in majority. They said, how can you impose Urdu on we, the Bengalis? They said, our idols are people like Nazarul Islam, Rabindranath Tagore, who have contributed to the Bengali language. So this diversity, pluralism in most of the aspects of our life, they have built over a period of centuries. So today, of course, I'm always happy to come to Kerala, where this feeling of alienness by a particular community is much less. But in different parts of the country, especially North India, there are a lot of persecution, oppression of Muslims under various guises. Recently, you must have heard about killing of two Muslim youth, Nasir and Junaid, on the ground of cow smuggling. Cow has become a major issue. And in our own Maharashtra, lot of people are being attacked in the name of love jihad. And on the top of it, I recently came today morning, I came to know that there was a Muslim man, Hindu girl, their marriage was solemnized in a temple. So such brilliant examples are also there, and some examples of hate are also there. So how did this India come to be? One thing, your professionals, we should recognize, society is not constant. It always keeps on changing. And this change, how do we see this change? Most of the multiplicity we face is because of this change. So some people accept the change according to the new situations, but some people refuse to accept the change in political values, social diversity, and they try to impose their values about religion or political system on the whole of the society. This is something which is very worrying. Briefly speaking, many people even regard Islam as a foreign religion, Christianity as a foreign religion. But you can reply to me, my understanding is that religions are universal. Do you agree? Religions are universal. Yes, no. Our nationality is restricted. We have a nationality, but religions are universal. There are Hindus living comfortably in America, in Japan. There are Buddhists living in Thailand, Indonesia, Malaysia, and so many countries, Sri Lanka. So this concept that Islam is a foreign religion brought here by Muslim kings is totally fallacious. I must say, quote Mahatma Gandhi here, who says that Hinduism, Islam, Christianity, Zoroastrianism, these are all Indian religions. Please note, father of the nation, his biggest contribution was to say that all religions are Indians. To distinguish them as foreign or native religions itself is wrong. So did India come to be just like that? Since you are professionals, I am telling you, a new book has come out, which is Early Indians by Tony Joseph. Now this book argues that, and based on population genetics, linguistics, architecture, archaeology, the book argues that the first people to arrive in India were from South Africa around 65,000 years ago. It is from that first migration, then came in second migration, then second migration was that which went on to bring up Harappa and Mohenjo-daro. In the third, fourth migration, the Aryans came, right? So this is how very ancient part of the India came in. But the dominant political streams try to say that Aryans are the natives of this land. Believe me, you friends, that people have been traveling to each other places without any problems. Nationality, visa, passport, they are the current things. Society also was not having this type of organization. Today we are having democracy, nation state, citizenship, and earlier, of course, if you see, initially they were hunter food gatherers. When Aryans came here, they were a pastoral society, and the Muslims who came here from 6th, 7th century onwards, they were coming from Arabia. So Islam in India did not come with the Muslim kings. I must quash this idea that Muslim kings brought Islam. The first Islam in India came in on Malabar coast through Arab traders. Arab traders who were bringing the things from Arabia and taking away the spices for trade to Arabia. It is the intermixing of them that Indians Islam began. And of course, those from Kerala will know better than me that there is Cheraman Juma Mosque, one of the oldest mosques not only of India but even of the world, which is there in India. So that is how the Muslims, Islam began in India, and it is the same Kerala where the other religion which is regarded as foreign, Christianity, also came, and Christianity came here in AD 52. Saint Thomas came, he established some churches, and with those churches the Christianity started growing. So first point I will say, Christianity, Islam, not foreign religions. They are part of this land, as much part of this land as Hinduism, Jainism, Buddhism, and all other religions which are here are concerned. Today, an idea is being created that Muslim kings brought Islam, which is totally wrong. I must tell you, Muslim kings came, other kings also were ruling. Kings were fighting not for the sake of religion. Kings were fighting for the sake of power, wealth. And there are multifaceted aspects of the life of the kings, and that has been reduced to only religion mainly by British colonialists. So here you see, why did British colonialists bring in a type of history where Islam becomes foreigner, Christianity they were quiet. Why did they bring this type of a history here? So history is important to us, not to take revenge, not to look at it in a divisive way. History is important to us to see how human society evolved for better, how diverse sections of society evolved so that they can mingle with each other and all that. So here please note there are three concepts of history. One concept of history was introduced by British, and British introduced the history by saying, particularly why did British do it, I must say. Before that also, I want to ask you another thing. If you can say yes or no, at least this small answer I'll expect from you. Can you tell me, when did India become independent? Very simple question. 15th August 1947. Thank you very much for the answer, because these days one big actor in India, she is saying that India got independence in 2014. So I'm quite disturbed about that such a wrong notion is being propagated. India became slave not with the rule of Muslim kings. Note this, did not become slave when the Muslim kings came. India became slave after the British came. So what is the difference? What is the difference? Muslim kings, Alauddin Khilji, Babur, Aurangzeb, think with me. They ruled here. Were they dictated from outside or they ruled themselves? They ruled themselves. Did they take away the wealth from here to abroad somewhere? Kabul, Kandahar, Makkah, Medina, etc. No. So they lived here, died here, and they ruled here. What about British? British came here in the name of trade and they won over major part of the country, and with that they not only ruled but they took away our wealth. Do you agree with me that British were the first rulers who ruled also and took away our wealth? Yes or no? So that is slavery. That when somebody rules, dictates from outside and takes away our wealth, so that is the slavery period. Rebellion to this came in the form of 1857. 1857, which is also called First War of Independence. British called it as a rebellion, etc., etc. I'll just remind you, the great diversity of India is visible in most of the events. So in 1857, if you see, the spark of 1857 was lit by Mangal Pandey. And 1857, the 1857 was led by Bahadur Shah Zafar. And Bahadur Shah Zafar was held by Tatya Sahab Tope, Nana Sahab Peshwa, Jhansi Ki Rani. In sum and substance, Hindus, Muslims came together, fought against British. Do you agree with me? Yes, no. When Hindus and Muslims came together, fought against British, British throne got shaken. And they decided that if we have to rule in this country, what policy we should adopt? Divide and rule. And for that, they introduced communal history. Please note this word here. What is a communal history? It explains the history's phenomenon through the angle of only religion. Hindu versus Muslim, Muslim versus Hindu, and this is called communal historiography or communal history. There are other people also that I will like to go in detail. So this communal history was taken up by Muslim communalists and Hindu communalists. Like if you go to Pakistan and some sections of conservative Muslims here, they will say Muslims were the rulers. Think about it. Were the Muslims ruling all over the country? Yes, no. No, they were ruling part of the country. Were they ruling alone or in alliance with Hindus also? So I'll give you the example. We all know Akbar. Akbar and his 9 jewels, 9 ratnas. So I'm just trying to debunk this British introduced history, communal history. So you must be remembering that Muslim kings ruled part of the country. Whole of the country was not ruled by them. So even when they ruled, did they rule only as Muslims or they had also alliances with Hindu kings? Think of this. Mahatma Gandhi brings this forward, and so this one example I'll give you. Like those from, you will be very familiar with great Akbar, Akbar the Great. He's called great because he thought of religious tolerance and introducing so many things in the society. So Akbar had 9 jewels, 9 ratnas in his court. And many of these Navratnas, they were Hindus. Please note, Akbar is a Muslim, yes, and his Hindu courtiers were Birbal and Raja Todarmal. And they were not insignificant. Please note, Todarmal in particular was very important. Why was Todarmal important? Because Todarmal was looking after the same department in Akbar's court, which in present government is being looked after by Nirmala Sita Raman. What department is that? Finance. Important or not important? Second thing I'll give you. They tried to pose as if Hindus and Muslims, they were at war with each other. I'll give you an example. Recently, in Rajasthan, when BJP government was ruling, the education minister there thought of changing the history. You may be knowing, sorry I'm giving the examples of North India, because North India is where communalism is maximum. So in North India, he changed the book. What was that part he changed? There was a battle between Akbar and Rana Pratap. In this battle, Akbar had won, Rana Pratap got defeated, but BJP education minister, how can they accept this Hindu king being defeated? So they changed the history. So what did they do? They said, in the battle of Haldi Ghati, Akbar lost, Rana Pratap won. And of course, it is totally false. If he meets me sometime, which is unlikely, I'll ask him, hello, you are saying that Akbar won the battle, Akbar lost the battle, Rana Pratap won the battle. Come on, we'll go to Haldi Ghati, see the history. In the Maidan, in the ground of Haldi Ghati, on one side there is Akbar's army, other side there is Rana Pratap's army. Rana Pratap's army, and please note, Akbar himself is not on the ground. So who's leading Akbar's army? Akbar's army is being led by Raja Man Singh. Who was Raja Man Singh? He was commander-in-chief of Akbar's army. And Rana Pratap had 3,000 soldiers. 1,000 of those soldiers were Pathans. And their leader was Hakim Khan Sur. So I will request you to answer with me. On Akbar's side, is it only Muslims or Hindu-Muslim both? Hindu-Muslim both? On Rana Pratap's side, is it only Hindus or Hindu-Muslim both? Both. So is it a battle between Hindus or Muslims? Or is it a battle between two kings? Two kings. Is it a battle for religion or is it a battle for power? Power. So these British colonialists, this one example I'm giving you, whole history is full of this, and which is totally wrong. Currently, I am very sad, sorry, I need a bit water because of the light, anyway. Are you understanding me or I am going too fast? Is it okay? Okay, so I was talking about Rana Pratap and Akbar, and currently I am very disturbed. Currently, the communal people who are in power, they are trying to say that Islam invaded India. Totally wrong. The total Muslims, different Muslim kings, they were there. Islam as a unified force is a religion. It did not invade. People accepted Islam out of their own willpower. People accepted Islam through interaction, Arab traders interaction, or as Swami Vivekananda points out, many people embraced Islam not because of the fear of Muslim king. They embraced Islam to escape the tyranny of caste system. This is very important people accepted Islam, and particularly if you see a lot of people who were on the lower side of caste system, who were untouchables, who were other medium castes, they wanted to have equal status. And am I right that Islam says all people are equal? Yes, no. So that's how they, in the hope of equality, they embraced Islam. And one of the, so many things I can go on this, but today they are saying Islamic invasion of India, totally wrong, totally, absolutely out of the way. Islam never invaded India, Buddhism never invaded Sri Lanka, Hinduism never invaded Ceylon. It is not that. Kings, in the name of religion, they invaded other country, not to spread the religion. Here also I must point out, there was only one king who spread his religion. Can you guess name of one of the kings who was in India from Maurya dynasty, who spread his religion? Emperor Ashok. Emperor Ashok spread his religion through sword or through love? Through love. I must say, religions cannot be imposed. There is a beautiful saying in Quran, in Arabic, which I am translating because I don't remember the original one, that says, to you, your religion. To me, my religion. There is a beautiful saying in Arabic which I am not trying to say. And basically I believe something which is forced cannot be religion. Something which is forced cannot be Islam. Unless you voluntarily accept it, it cannot be a religion. But people are today trying to create a propaganda that Islam was spread by force. So this is one type of history started by British, taken up by the communal people, Muslim communalists on one side, Hindu communalists on the other side. Only these two type of histories are two sides of the same coin. Two sides of the same coin which look at the people, kings, only through, and their policies only through the prism of religion. The second type of history, which I am very happy to read, to expand on, is that by people like Mahatma Gandhi, people like Jawaharlal Nehru. And this gives us a beautiful impression of what India is. Mahatma Gandhi, in his book Hind Swaraj, in a couple of pages writes that India had kings of different religions, Hindus and Muslims in particular. Under Muslim rulers, Hindu and Muslim subjects, they thrived. They thrived under a Muslim king. Similarly, under Hindu king, Muslims and Hindus both thrived. So this is Mahatma Gandhi in Hind Swaraj. And what does Jawaharlal Nehru tell us? Jawaharlal Nehru, against whom a lot of rumors are spread. Jawaharlal Nehru, in his book Discovery of India, I'll request you to read Discovery of India, or if not possible, there are a lot of audios, 1 hour, 2 hour audios, and there is a whole series, Bharat Ek Khoj by Shyam Benegal, which gives us the history of India. And in this, Jawaharlal Nehru says that India, now this is what our topic is today, we the people. How does Jawaharlal Nehru see we the people? He says that India was a land where different layers of people kept coming. Greeks came, Sharks came, Huns came, Muslims came, Christians came. There were earlier layers of civilization, and these were the new layers. And what happened between the two? There was interaction. Some new things came up and old things continued. And due to this interaction, this is what India's culture is. That's why it is plural, it's diverse. So a Muslim in Kerala will talk in Malayalam, Muslim in Bengal will talk in Bengali, Muslim in Maharashtra will talk in Marathi. So this is Indian pluralism, Same way about Hindus also. I go to different parts of the country and everywhere different type of language is there. And why I am pointing this out? Some people who are communalists, they are trying to take advantage of it to increase their politics. 3 days ago, I was in Kerala, Trivandrum. I went for a morning walk. I wanted to have a cup of tea. I went to the shop and I saw there was a person from Northeast. And he told me, "Sir, you talk in Hindi." I talked with him in Hindi. So that's how, and some people who are not comfortable with communalist people. What are communalist people? Who do politics in the name of religion. In Tamil Nadu, there are Biharis. In UP people, all over. In Maharashtra, if you see, all type of people there. Now they are trying to create a rift between people of two states. I hope you are getting my indication who I am talking to about. So far, they have been creating rift between Hindus and Muslims, Hindus and Christians. Now they are trying to create a rift between Tamil and Bihari. Probably tomorrow they will do something else. This is not what we the India means. We the India means full respect, honor to every diverse religion, language, culture, ethnicity, style of life, etc., etc. So these three things I hope you will remember. Communal history, introduced by British, taken up by Muslim communalist and Hindu communalist. Second, the type of history brought forward by Mahatma Gandhi and Jawaharlal Nehru, which is a foundation of our India as we live today. So earlier, as I told you, society changes. From hunter food gatherer, we came to become the pastoral society. From pastoral society, kingdoms arose. Kings had an authoritarian system. They did not have democracy. And from these kingdoms later on, nation state comes up. What is a nation state? Where by and large, all people are regarded equal. And it is on the basis of equality that the nation state progresses, goes forward. Before I go further, I'll give you a very current example that in India, during freedom movement, while British are on one side, they wanted to rule here. They brought some changes. So these changes related to three particular things. What were these three things? One was introduction of railways, rail. Introduction of telephone, telegraph, postal system, mail. Introduction of modern education, modern judiciary, and part of judiciary is jail, right? So this thing you will remember, rail, mail, jail. With this, new classes come up, and these are the classes which made India. What are these classes? These three classes are: number one, businessmen, industrialist, working class, and number three, the modern educated class. Along with these three classes are the foundation of we, the people of India. Two major changes which took place during this thing: modern education comes in, and modern education is also taken to women and Dalits. The deprived sections of society are also treated with that. So with that, these five things constitute Indian nationalism. What are five things? Because of transport, communication, and this thing came up: industrialist class, working class, and the modern educated class, accompanied by two social changes of education for Dalits, education for women. So this made India, and the old rulers, Raja, Nawab, Zamindar, Jagirdar, they remained aloof from the process. The kings and feudal lords remained aloof with the process, and they formed communal organization. Today's Kerala IUML is different, but during freedom movement, the Muslim League which came up was different. It was primarily formed by the landlords and the kings. Later on, some educated people like Jinnah and others also joined them. Similarly, Hindu Mahasabha, founded by Hindu kings, later on people like Savarkar and others joined in. And with this Hindu communalism, the concept came of three nations. One, the secular democratic India, led by people like Bhagat Singh, Ambedkar, Gandhi. When I say Gandhi, I also include in Gandhi people like Maulana Abul Kalam Azad, Khan Abdul Ghaffar Khan, Annie Besant, and Sardar Baldev Singh. So these people formed Indian nationalism, and people from the landed aristocracy, the landlords, they formed Muslim League on one side, Hindu Mahasabha, and RSS on the other. So in this type of nationalism, they struggled for India's independence. And in this struggle for India's independence, we see the struggle for Indian independence, we see the participation of people of all religions. There are great Hindus, Sardar Patel, Subhash Chandra Bose, Mahatma Gandhi, Jawaharlal Nehru. They were great Muslims. Maulana Abul Kalam Azad, Khan Abdul Ghaffar Khan, M.A. Ansari, Zakir Hussain, and so many who equally fought shoulder to shoulder with other friends for the independence of the country. Please note, independence of the country was not because of people of one religion. People of all religions came together and fought for India's struggle, in which Muslims were also there, Hindus were also there, Christians were also there, men were there, women were there. While people from the communal streams, they talked of Muslim nation, Hindu nation. And what was their ideals? Muslim League talked of great Muslim kings. I am not trying to undermine any religion. I am not talking against any religion. I respect all the religions like Mahatma Gandhi. But kings of the religion, they do not represent the religion. Countries cannot be formed in the name of religion. You see in the Middle East, there are so many countries, Muslim majority. So people try to think, but they can't become in one country. Like India, Pakistan, which came in the name of Islam, it also broke into two. And in the Central Asia, Western Asia, there are so many countries, Iran, Iraq, Saudi Arabia, Syria, etc., which are Muslim majority, but we are different. So this particular concept, Muslim League on one side, Hindu Mahasabha, RSS on the other, they talked of this nation based on religion. People on this side, Maulana Abul Kalam Azad, Khan Abdul Ghaffar Khan, Mahatma Gandhi and all that, they talked of nation based on the moral values, based on the modern values of liberty, equality, fraternity. Please note, secularism is not against religion. Today they are trying to tell us secularism means it is against religion. So here in an imaginative, I want to stretch your imagination and give you two interviews, imaginary interviews, which you should try to understand the spirit behind that. First interview is with Maulana Abul Kalam Azad. Maulana Abul Kalam Azad. I approach him as a journalist. I tell him, Maulana Sahab, you are such a great Muslim. You have done a great translation of Quran, Holy Quran. Why don't you join Muslim League? Why don't you support the demand for Pakistan? So Maulana Sahab answers in that imaginary way, that young man, you the journalist, My Islam teaches amity of human beings. My Islam teaches humanity is one, and Muslim League is talking of dividing India. So I cannot be a part of Muslim League. I approached Mahatma Gandhi. I asked Mahatma Gandhi, Mahatma ji, are you a Hindu? He says, yes, of course, I am a Hindu. I am a Hindu. I can even give my life for my religion. What does it mean? That for the principles of morality, I am willing to give my life. But the state, the national movement which I am leading, and the state which I want to bring in will not be guided by any religion. State's function will be to look after people's welfare, bread, butter, shelter, employment, social opportunities, dignity, jobs, etc., etc., while religion will be a moral force to guide us. So you are seeing one great Muslim, one great Hindu, and it is a peak of secular values which we see in these particular two things. So, of course, the tragedy of partition took place. Kashmir is another issue. I will not go into that. Tragedy of partition also, I will say, people tried to blame after independence. After independence, they tried to say that Pakistan has been formed for Muslims. Pakistan has been formed for Muslims. So why don't you go there? It was such a humiliating thing to say, because Pakistan was created mainly by the British. Why? Their policy of divide and rule, supported by Muslim communalism of Muslim League and Hindu communalism of Hindu Mahasabha and RSS. So Muslims were targeted, and gradually as the Hindu communalism in India started becoming powerful, so Muslim communalism in a way declined after partition. Major Muslim communalists went to Pakistan, and some of course were left, and Hindu communalism started becoming very powerful and assertive. From the decade of 1980s, with the assertion of Hindu communalism in the form of increase of RSS, they started taking up issues. Which tried to single out a community. I don't know how many of you have noted, recently names of many places have been changed. Allahabad has become what? Prayagraj. Faizabad has become Ayodhya, and Mughal Sarai Junction has become Pandit Deen Dayal Upadhyay. They want to change even the name of Mughal Gardens in Rashtrapati Bhavan. One interesting thing I'll tell you, this Rashtrapati Bhavan, Mughal Gardens, was not made by Mughals. This will be surprising to you. Who made it? It was made by British. Why it is called Mughal Gardens? Because that British gardener who designed the garden, he thought Shalimar Garden in Kashmir, Aram Bagh in Agra, they are ideal gardens. So he designed the garden like that and called it Mughal Gardens. So that is pinching these Hindu communalists. So one of them, he was very clever. He went to Supreme Court. He said, sir, what is this? Daily we have to change the name of this place, that place. Why not make a name change commission? So all the things which are in the name of Muslim kings should be done away with. British we don't mind because we were slave to British anyway. They have a slavish mentality towards British. They were never against British. So Supreme Court in a brilliant judgment said, this is a totally illogical thing. We reject this petition because this petition tries to target one community. It opens up, it presents the history in a very negative way, and it tries to create divides within the community. So this is one good judgment of Supreme Court which you should remember, how it came up and all that. Anyway, this communal, today the plight of Muslims, I must say, I am for every weaker section of society. It may be Dalits, it may be women, it may be Adivasi, Christian minorities or Muslim minorities. Believe me you, that during last 10 years, atrocities against all these sections have gone up. Today's Times of India, there is an article by Swaminathan Ankalesariya Iyer. Read it. How atrocities against Christians have also gone up. Atrocities against Muslims, of course, we have been trying to monitor it carefully in the name of terrorism, in the name of all this, has really gone up because Hindu communal parties have become dominant. They have tried to divide the society in the name of emotional issues. What are those emotional issues? One emotional issue was Ram Temple, Ayodhya, and then there is a series of things. All this is totally wrong. I'll give only one example. Recently, Kashi Vishwanath Temple issue is going on. They picked up one thing, but they forgot that same Aurangzeb who's supposed to have destroyed that Kashi Vishwanath temple gave donations to many Hindu temples. Kamakhya Devi temple in Assam, Mahakal temple in Ujjain, Lord Krishna temple in Vrindavan. Aurangzeb gave donations also. But today, selectively, distorted way, temple destruction has made one of the issue. And second very interesting thing, if you understand, I'll tell you. There is a report by India Spend. India Spend report tells us that after 2014, now I hope you remember 2014, I just now referred in context with what? I referred it in the context with one big actor saying that we got independence on that year. But there is another thing I'll tell you. After 2014, many Muslim youth, many Muslims were killed in the name of cow, in the name of Junaid, in the name of beef. It may be Akhlaq, it may be Junaid. They were all killed mercilessly. And recently I gave the example of Haryana where 2 Muslims. And what was the issue? Cow, beef. I was very disturbed. So I went into the history and I came across a book by Professor D.N. Jha. Professor D.N. Jha tells us that during Vedic period, beef was eaten. And this was confirmed by none other than Swami Vivekananda in his book, Lectures from Chicago to Almora. What does Swami Vivekananda tell us? That during Vedic period, beef was a commonly consumed item. I went further. Why they are making this as an issue? They don't make it an issue in Kerala. Kerala, every hotel has a lot of beef cuisine. One of the BJP leaders in Northeast recently said, he's a BJP leader, I eat beef, no problem. But in the cow belt, beef has become a major issue. It has nothing to do with worshipping cow. It has nothing to do with worshipping cow. It is purely a political issue based on which India Spend report tells us how many people were lynched. And one humorous incident I'll tell you. I hope some of you may be remembering, because you are a younger generation, you may be remembering about Atal Bihari Vajpayee, who was our Prime Minister. Atal Bihari Vajpayee once had gone to US. I am telling from his biography by Vijay Trivedi, page 236. Atalji once had gone to US. After lecture, he was enjoying his meals. So his neighbor tapped his shoulder and said, Atalji, what you are eating is beef. Atalji smiled loudly and he said, oh, it is beef. But not to worry, It is not of Indian cow, it is of American cow, so let's enjoy our meals properly. So this is how they are politicizing. Then love jihad. Recently, just now I read today morning about one marriage of Muslim boy and Hindu girl being solemnized in a temple. Now, in an open society, these things happen. But to target the Muslim youth and in the context of that, controlling the Hindu women is very dangerous. In Kerala, many of the Catholic bishops also do it, which is a very sad thing to do. So friends, in this situation, friends like you, I wish you all the best in your professional career. But I also believe that we need to contribute to the society. We need to contribute in the direction of bringing in democracy, preserving our diversity, preserving our pluralism. And today, at political level, Muslims have been targeted, Christians have been targeted. Now the linguistic disputes are being raised up. So what can we contribute? Now this is the last point I'll make. I have a 5-stage model. 5-stage model is that at the root there are misconceptions that Muslim kings destroyed temples, Muslim kings imposed Islam, Muslims have large families, Muslims are terrorists, etc., etc. I have not gone into the issue of terrorism, which was sponsored practically by America for the sake of oil. Russian army occupied Afghanistan. America wanted to respond, but its army was not free, so they trained some of the Muslim youth into the ideology of terrorism. They gave them 7 million tons of armaments, 8,000 millions of dollars they funded to bring up Taliban, Al-Qaeda, Islamic State, etc., etc. Name is that of religion, agenda is that of politics, agenda is to control oil. So these misconceptions about Muslim kings and reflecting on today's Muslims is the strength of communal organization. New and new things they prop up, saying that things are like that. As a latest thing they are saying, Indian civilization, Hindu civilization dominated by Brahminical values. Islamic invasion was the cause. I believe this is the worst type of formulation. Indian civilization is beautiful mosaic. It's a beautiful mosaic of diverse people, and that is one of our big strengths. So what do we do? I was saying, so one is their misconceptions. Because of misconceptions against Muslims and Christians, there is a hatred. Because of hatred, they can organize violence. And because of violence, they become stronger. This is not me. This I am telling you on the basis of the research from Yale University. Yale University, they did great amount of research on communal violence in India, and this is what they came. So friends, while wishing you all the best in your professional careers, I'm here to request you, can we think of combating hatred in the society? Can you come to the basic Islamic tenet that if your neighbor is hungry, you will never go to Jannat? My point is that we have to come to the moral values of our religions, which the great Sufi saints, great Bhakti saints propagated, because of which the human society became much beautiful place to live. So today, point number 1, try to understand, if we want to do something in the society, neutralize the negative things. First, we have to understand it properly. Why temples were destroyed? Temples were destroyed for the religion, or for money, or wealth, or power. Why did terrorism come up? For the politics of oil. Why nature of Muslim personal law and others, that also you should understand properly, and try to understand the values of freedom movement. Freedom movement to me is something which is the foundation of Indian Constitution. And Indian Constitution, last one point I must tell you, on one side there are people from this side like Ambedkar, who went for burning a book called Manusmriti, which has the provisions of slavery for Shudras and women. And other side, he went on to become the chief architect of India's constitution, giving us liberty, equality, fraternity. So my appeal is, try to spend some time understanding these things. And if you don't mind, I'll give you a bit of a personal thing also. There are a lot of good videos which our young friend Ashok Kumar Pandey is coming out with on different issues. Try to remember this word, Ashok Kumar Pandey. My own videos are there on ancient India, medieval history, and I keep posting many of these things on my Facebook page in my name. If you want, I'm sorry for this talking about myself, you can follow that, you can like that, so that you get the latest information about communal issues. So finally, expressing my gratitude to all of you, I appeal to you that let's come to the morality of religions, morality of Islam, morality of Hinduism, so that we can strengthen Indian Constitution and we can preserve the democratic rights of every sections of society. Thank you very much.